I never thought the words "I need space" could hurt more than a breakup itself. My girlfriend told me not to call her, not to text her, not to even check in. She needed time to think. So I waited. I gave her the space she asked for. But then, one night, scrolling through Instagram, I froze. There she was laughing, drinking, and posting vacation photos. And she wasn't alone. That was the moment my heart broke for real. My name's Daniel. I'm 27, and for 2 years, I thought I had finally found the love of my life. We met through friends at a party, and from that night on, it felt like we were inseparable. She was fun, adventurous, the kind of girl who made ordinary days feel like an adventure. We traveled together, we laughed until our stomachs hurt, and I truly believed we were building something real. But lately, I started to notice things. The late replies to my texts, the sudden excuses not to meet, the way she seemed there, but not really with me. I told myself it was stress, that maybe work was getting to her. I didn't want to believe the distance was something deeper. Then, out of nowhere, came the text. "I need space. Don't contact me for a while. I'll reach out when I'm ready." My stomach dropped. My hands shook as I read it over and over again. I didn't understand. Had I done something wrong? Was she testing me? Still, I respected her words. I didn't call. I didn't text. I stayed silent, waiting for the day she'd reach out again. What I didn't know was that space wasn't about healing. It was about hiding. A week passed. Then another. Every morning, I woke up hoping there'd be a text from her. Every night, I went to sleep convincing myself she just needed time. But the silence was killing me. One night, out of pure habit, I opened Instagram. I wasn't even looking for her, but there she was, smiling brighter than she had in months. The photo hit me like a punch to the gut. She was on the beach, cocktail in hand, sunglasses on, laughing at the camera. And the caption read, "Living my best life." At first, I thought maybe she went with her family, maybe it's just a quick getaway. But then I swiped. Another picture. Her standing close to a guy I'd never seen before. His arm wrapped around her waist like it belonged there. I dropped my phone. My chest tightened. The girl who told me she needed space was out on a vacation with him. All the nights I stayed awake, all the tears I held back, all the hope I clung to, it felt like a joke. She wasn't healing. She wasn't thinking. She was replacing me. And in that moment, something inside me shattered. I don't even remember how long I sat there staring at my phone. My hands were trembling. My chest felt tight. And for the first time in my life, I understood what it meant when people said their heart physically hurt. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. But instead, I just sat in silence, scrolling. Every swipe cut deeper. Photo after photo, post after post. Her in a bikini, him holding her waist. Her laughing at dinner, his hand on her shoulder. Her writing captions about freedom, finding happiness, and living in the moment. I thought I was losing my mind. Just 2 weeks ago, she told me she loved me. 2 weeks ago, she promised she just needed time to think. 2 weeks ago, I was still her boyfriend. Now, I was just a ghost. For hours, I debated whether I should confront her. Should I call her out? Should I send a screenshot of her own pictures? Or should I stay silent, pretend I didn't know, and wait for her to eventually reach out like she promised? But the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. So I texted her. Just one simple line. "I hope the vacation is going well." It didn't take long for the 3 little dots to appear. My heart raced. And then her reply came through. "Daniel, I didn't want you to find out like this." That was it. No apology, no explanation. Just a cold confirmation that, yes, what I saw was exactly what I thought it was. I called her immediately. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. When she answered, her voice was calm, too calm, like she had rehearsed it all. "Daniel, I told you I needed space," she said. "Space?" I snapped. "You said you needed space, not another man's arms. You told me not to contact you while you went on vacation with someone else. There was silence on the line, then a sigh. It's not what you think, she said. And those words, those cursed words, made me want to explode. It's not what I think? I'm literally looking at the photos. Sarah, you said you needed time to figure things out, and the whole time you were lying to me. She stayed quiet, and in that silence, I realized something. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't guilty. She was caught. Finally, she spoke. Daniel, I didn't mean to hurt you. I felt like we were growing apart. I needed space to clear my head, and this trip just happened. Just happened? I laughed bitterly. Trips don't just happen. People don't just fall into someone else's arms. You planned this. You lied to me while planning it. And now you're hiding behind the excuse of needing space so you wouldn't have to admit what you were really doing. Her tone hardened. I didn't lie. I did need space. And yes, I met someone. But that doesn't mean I never cared about you. I cut her off. I couldn't take it anymore. Don't you dare tell me you cared. You don't do this to someone you care about. You don't make them sit in silence, thinking they're respecting your wishes, while you're out parading around with someone else. For the first time in the call, she sounded defensive. I didn't parade anything. I posted a few photos. That's all. You're overreacting. And that's when it hit me. She didn't just betray me. She didn't even see it as betrayal. To her, this was normal, acceptable, something I was supposed to understand. My voice broke as I said, "Do you have any idea what you've done to me?" I sat here for weeks, blaming myself, wondering what I did wrong, respecting your request for silence. I held on to hope because I believed in you. And all that time, you were just moving on. Her reply was cold, almost dismissive. Daniel, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't owe you an explanation for how I live my life. That was the dagger. Not the photos, not the lies, not even the new guy. It was those words. I don't owe you an explanation. I realized then that the girl I loved was gone. Maybe she had been gone for a while, and I just refused to see it. The girl who used to hold my hand, whisper promises under the stars, and tell me I was her future, that girl no longer existed. All that was left was someone cold, selfish, and unapologetic. I hung up the phone without another word. My hands were numb. My body felt heavy, like I was sinking into the floor. And for the first time in years, I cried like a child. Not just for her, but for myself. For the man who believed in forever. For the man who respected her space. For the man who loved her more than he loved himself. And in that storm of tears and anger, something started to shift inside me. It wasn't strength, not yet. But it was the first flicker of realization. Sometimes, when someone says they need space, what they really mean is they need space to make room for someone else. The days after that call were some of the hardest of my life. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Everywhere I looked, I saw her face. Every memory, every laugh, every moment we shared it all replayed like a cruel movie in my mind. Friends told me to forget her. Family told me to move on. But how do you erase someone who was woven into every part of your world? I didn't just lose a girlfriend. I lost my best friend, my confidant, my future. For weeks, I stayed in that darkness. I scrolled through her photos even though I knew it would hurt. I reread old texts, searching for clues, trying to figure out when she stopped loving me. And every time, I came up empty. But slowly, very slowly, something changed. One morning, I caught my reflection in the mirror. My eyes were tired, my shoulders slumped, my spirit broken. And for the first time, I didn't feel sad. I felt angry. Angry at myself for giving so much of my worth to someone who didn't deserve it. Angry for waiting, for respecting her silence, for believing in a love that was already dead. That anger became fuel. Instead of crying, I went for runs. Instead of scrolling through her photos, I started journaling my pain. Instead of isolating, I reconnected with old friends I had neglected while I was wrapped up in her world. The more I rebuilt my life, the more I realized something powerful. She didn't leave me because I wasn't enough. She left because she wasn't capable of appreciating what she had. The truth is, people don't walk away from love because of the absence of feelings. They walk away because of the absence of maturity, loyalty, and courage. And that was her, not me. It wasn't easy though. Healing never is. There were nights when the loneliness came back like a tidal wave, pulling me under. Nights when I almost texted her, almost begged for an explanation I knew would never heal me. But every time, I stopped myself. Because why give someone who broke me the power to break me again? Months passed, and with time, the pain dulled, the tears dried, the hole in my chest began to close. And one day, out of nowhere, I realized I hadn't thought about her all week. Not once. That's when I knew I was free. I learned something through all of this. When someone tells you they need space, you give it to them, but not in the way I did. You don't wait, you don't hope, you don't put your life on hold. You give them space and you move forward. Because anyone who truly loves you will never need space to discover your value. And as for her, I don't hate her anymore. In fact, I thank her. She taught me the hardest lesson of my life, that love without respect is nothing, that loyalty means more than passion, and that sometimes losing someone isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of your strength. So if you're listening to this and you're going through the same heartbreak, know this. It hurts now, it feels impossible now, but one day you'll look back at the person who broke you and realize they didn't destroy you, they shaped you into someone stronger than you ever imagined. And when that day comes, you'll smile. Not because you missed them, but because you survived them. Time passed. The wounds didn't heal overnight. But little by little, life began to feel different. I started waking up earlier, not to check my phone for her messages, but to actually live my mornings. I drank my coffee slowly, watching the sunrise, realizing that I had spent so much of my life rushing to reply to her texts, rushing to fix arguments, rushing to prove I was enough. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't rushing for anyone. I was simply present. I joined the gym. At first, it was just a distraction. I thought if I exhausted my body, maybe my mind would stop replaying her laugh, her smile, her betrayal. But with every drop of sweat, I wasn't just burning calories, I was burning pain. And strangely, I started feeling lighter. Not just physically, but mentally. I reconnected with old friends too. People I had neglected because my entire life revolved around her. They welcomed me back with open arms, no judgment, no lectures, just laughter, memories, and reminders that I was more than the relationship that broke me. One of my friends asked me something that stuck in my head. Do you even remember who you were before her? The truth was, I didn't. I had been so consumed with being her boyfriend, with fitting into the role she wanted me to play, that I had lost myself somewhere along the way. So I made a decision. If she could find joy in vacations and strangers, I could find joy in rediscovering who I was. I started traveling too. Not far, not expensive trips, just small getaways. Hiking trails I'd never tried, visiting nearby towns I had ignored, even sitting in a cafe with a book. Something so simple felt like freedom. Every step reminded me, life didn't end with her. And then something unexpected happened. Months after our breakup, I ran into her. It was at a grocery store of all places. She looked different, tired, older somehow, like the shine from those Instagram photos had worn off. Our eyes met, and for a split second, I felt my chest tighten, the ghost of old feelings trying to crawl back. But then I saw it, the guilt in her eyes, the hesitation in her step, and I realized I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even sad. I was indifferent. She tried to start small talk, asked me how I'd been. And for the first time, I answered honestly, I've been good, really good. Her smile faltered, just a little. She nodded, and I walked away. No long conversation, no reopening wounds, just closure in its simplest form. That night, lying in bed, I thought about her, but not with pain, not with longing, with gratitude. Because if she hadn't betrayed me, if she hadn't asked for space, if she hadn't taken that vacation with someone else, I wouldn't have rediscovered myself. I wouldn't have grown. I wouldn't have realized my worth. Love is supposed to build you, not break you. It's supposed to make you stronger, not weaker. And anyone who can walk away from you so easily was never truly holding your hand in the first place. So here I am now, stronger than I've ever been. Not because she came back, she didn't. Not because I found someone new I haven't yet, but because I found myself. And maybe that's the real victory after heartbreak. It's not proving them wrong. It's not making them jealous. It's not even finding someone better. It's standing in front of the mirror, smiling at the person staring back, and finally saying, I am enough. Life has a way of showing us the truth in the most painful ways. When my girlfriend said she needed space, I thought it meant she was trying to save what we had. But now I understand sometimes I need space is just another way of saying, I've already left. I just don't have the courage to tell you. Her vacation photos, her new guy, the lies, it all broke me. But in the end, it freed me too. Because nothing is more painful than holding on to someone who has already let go. If you're listening to this and going through something similar, hear me. You deserve more than someone who hides behind excuses. You deserve loyalty. You deserve honesty. You deserve a love that doesn't need space to remember your worth. So take the lesson, take the pain, and turn it into power. Because sometimes losing the wrong person is the only way to create space for the right one. If you found yourself in this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life confessions and emotional journeys. And remember, love yourself first. Because the one person who should never leave you is you.